Hello, I'm Lynette Schaefer, and in this video, I will be explaining how EiKO's network lighting controls work. So EiKO's network lighting control system is powered by Silvera, and it is also a Bluetooth low energy mesh that operates on a flood mesh network. No central controller and no single point of failure. It consists of thousands of nodes, aka devices. You can have individual addressable fixtures and control devices. You can easily create zones and program multiple lighting control strategies through the easy to use iOS app. And it is also DLC approved as an energy saving network lighting control system. Now, last time I looked, there was about 57 network lighting control solutions that are DLC approved. Why is this important? Well, depending upon the utility company, some may or may not give rebates, and those that are not DLC approved doesn't necessarily mean that the utility company will provide a rebate. So fortunately, as I mentioned, EiKO's network lighting control solution is DLC approved through our partnership with Silvera. So when it comes to crossing or quoting a network lighting control solution, yes, it's very important to understand fully what your customer wants to achieve with their lighting. So what is the lighting control strategy? But it's also important to compare apples to apples, and the DLC website makes that very easy to do. So you can log into the DLC website, then go to find products, then click on NLC QPL to easily compare the various lighting systems that exist as far as network lighting controls go. And it will also show you all of those that are DLC approved and the characteristics from one versus the other. Now, as you compare different types of lighting control systems, it's important to understand that all DLC approved network lighting controls must meet some required capabilities. And those things include like occupancy sensing, for instance, the ability to set high-end trim, have individual fixture addressability, daylight harvesting or photo cell capabilities. You've got to be able to group fixtures and create zones. The system must offer continuous dimming. You must have cybersecurity. And because it is a network lighting control system, networking of luminaires and devices are also required. So the question is if every network lighting control system must have these things for the foundation, then what makes a network lighting control system different from one to the other? That's a very good question. Well, a big one is the scalability of the system. So basically, how many devices can communicate with one another. There are also different types of protocols. So does it use Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, Zigbee, or other some other kind of proprietary protocol? What's the topology? I mean, how does it communicate? Do the devices have to be within a certain range from one another? Also things like what are the different components? Does it require hubs or gateways or routers or some sort of central control device? These can all add to the system costs. And how does the system actually install? Is it easy plug and play? Does it need an Ethernet or control wire to be installed? How does it commission? Does it require a manufacturer to come to the site to commission, or is it super easy that anybody can do it? And if you want to make changes, how easy or difficult is that? All of these things, as I mentioned, can add up to be very costly. So it's important that you understand the foundation, the backbone of each of the network lighting control systems that your customer is considering. Now, EiKO's network lighting control system uses a Bluetooth low energy mesh to communicate among devices, which is different from Wi-Fi and Zigbee because there is no central control device. So let me show you how it works. So here we have a number of nodes all kind of attached together. An example of a node is a fixture controller, a sensor, a wireless controller, or a wall controller. Those are just examples of what a node could be. Now we can easily break these nodes and split them into, say, two zones. In this case, I've got zone 1 on the left-hand side. It has 7 fixtures with 1 sensor. Zone 2 has 2 fixtures with a wireless controller. All fixtures are equipped with a fixture controller because, of course, the fixture controller is what receives the signal from the sensor or the wireless controller or the wall controller, and then the fixtures react by either turning the fixture on or off, increasing or decreasing in intensity, or whatever it's supposed to do. So in this example on the left-hand side, when someone walks into, say, zone 1, the sensor sends a wireless signal out to the closest fixture. That fixture controller that's within that fixture picks up the signal and immediately floods the signal out to the next closest fixture. controller, and that continues to happen until all the fixtures in that zone are on. Again, there's a fixture controller in each one of those fixtures. That fixture controller picks up the zone or picks up the signal, and then the fixture it tells what the fixture to do. This all happens very, very fast. It's not a popcorn effect by any means. It is very fast, very quick. So it's almost like all the fixtures are turning on at the exact same time. Now, as a side note, every node, whether it's a sensor, a fixture controller, a wall controller, or a wireless controller, it does have a communication range. So you will want to review the spec sheet for details on what that communication range is. Now, just to explain this a little bit further, in this example, in the upper right-hand corner, I have 8 fixtures, which consist of 8 fixture controllers embedded into each fixture, and there's one zone. Now, the wireless controller that you see here in this example, this particular wireless controller needs to be within 32 feet of one of the fixture controllers, not all of them, just one of them. Now, this particular sensor that I show here has to be within 65 feet of one of the fixture controllers, and each fixture controller, so in this case, each fixture that has a fixture controller embedded in it, has to be within 100 feet from another fixture controller. Otherwise, the mesh network will not work. So let's look at this other example, zone 2. In this example, someone presses the wireless controller, the signal goes out to the closest fixture controller, and the same thing happens. The signal floods out to all the other fixtures, assuming they all have fixture controllers embedded in them, and assuming too that they're within the max communication range. That is as easy as what it is. No special wiring, no central, controller or hub or gateways required. It's very simple, very easy. And you can learn also how it actually installs in another training video found at EiKO.com. We make it very easy to add fixture controllers to fixtures. We make it very easy to add sensors to controllers. And again, that's just a little bit different training video. And you can find that at EiKO.com, click on resources and click on training. The other thing I wanted to mention is that EiKO's network lighting control system, the things that set us apart from other manufacturers is, again, there's no hub, router, or gateways required. It has a very fast data transfer and a resilient radio. So that's why all those fixtures turn on immediately. It's scalable to thousands of devices. As a matter of fact, 200 per zone, 8,000 per project. No restriction on the number of groups or zones per project. It also reconfigures automatically. So if one device fails, it will continue to send that signal out, assuming there's at least one other fixture within range. And also, if you add fixtures, you can easily do that because it reconfigures automatically also when you add fixtures or add devices. So it's very simple and easy to add additional devices if you need to. Another thing that sets us apart from the competition is we are part of SIG, which is a special interest group. That means we have to meet a little bit better security. We have stricter rules that we have to follow. And we also have to be able to have interoperability and communication with other devices that are part of the special interest group. EiKO's network lighting controls has all the basic features we talked about to be approved by DLC as a network lighting control system. But just to give you a little bit more of a deep dive, and you'll learn more about this in a different training video, but just to kind of highlight it here, as I mentioned, you have to have a fixture controller. That is what receives a signal from the control device, whether that's a wall or a wireless controller or a sensor. So in this case, let's just say you install a fixture controller in each fixture. At that point, you get individual fixture addressability, zoning, the ability to set high and low and trim, and then you also get basic in-node scheduling. All of that is done through our free iOS app. If you decide you want to incorporate a wall controller or maybe a wireless controller, you now get scenes, personal control, and continuous dimming. And if you incorporate a fixture controller that has a sensor also embedded in it, that opens the door to occupancy or vacancy sensing and daylight harvesting, in addition to the zoning, the setting the high end trim, the low end trim, the basic in-node scheduling, and individual fixture addressability. So all of those lighting control strategies you get, but you also get the enhanced cybersecurity protection with 3 layers of protection. It is an easy iOS Apple user interface. So you just need an Apple device. I typically recommend an iPad. It's a little bit bigger to be able to do the commissioning on. It's super easy to install, extremely easy to commission. You do not need to have somebody come out to the job site with you to be able to commission it. And as far as installation goes, there's no special Ethernet cables, there's no special wiring. And again, you can learn about that in a different training video found at EiKO.com. Our system does not require the use of hubs or gateways or external devices. If you do need to boost a signal, because as I mentioned, there is that communication range for every device. If you do need to boost that, you can use the range extender that will help boost the signal by about 800 feet. If you also need a battery backup for the scheduling, which you'll learn more about in a different training, you can use the range extender with Timekeeper, which provides 24-hour battery backup. For advanced scheduling, and as well as energy monitoring, that can be accomplished through the addition of a gateway. The gateway also includes a 5-year Silvera technical support package. And through our partnerships, our system can also provide device monitoring, external system integration, load shedding, and plug load control. Thank you so much for your time today. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or any of our regional managers or agents. Thanks again.